Hi guys, it's Belle again, and today we're on Cozumel Island in the Riviera Maya. And if you've thought about living abroad in the Riviera Maya region or in anywhere else in Mexico, just click on the link down below and you'll be able to download your free reports with all of the essential information. And today we're just going to talk to Laurie, who does beautiful work with wildlife here on the island and specifically saving the baby sea turtles, along with a lot of other humanitarian efforts. So, hi Laurie.
Hi, good to be here today, Belle.
Just quickly for everyone else, just could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm Laurie and I do live here in beautiful Cozumel full time. I enjoy the nature here. I go snorkeling. I have my dog. My son lives here, my adult son, my significant other. We have a lot of friends here. It's a beautiful, warm climate. It's just great.
Me too. I love living in the tropics because of that warm weather. It helps you get out and it makes me want to be out more. I want to go for those long walks and jump on my bicycle and go for a ride. Do you find the same thing, that it's a healthier way of living?
I do. We came from Seattle, which is a pretty healthy lifestyle city, but the seasons, being so cold in the winter, I don't really like jackets and shoes. So here it's great. We wear flip-flops every day. We can walk out to the beach from our house every day. It's just wonderful here. It's more of an outdoor lifestyle for us.
I'm the same. And part of that wonderful outdoor lifestyle is the beautiful nature that we have. Cozumel has, everyone thinks of just the Caribbean Ocean, which is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I love my snorkeling. But we also have vast jungles and wide sandy beaches on the other side of the island and such a range of wildlife that today I really wanted to talk to Laurie about the sea turtle program that they have here on the island. So we'll get to that in a moment, but first of all, just how do you find living on the island in general, like the cost of living and just the atmosphere, the culture, the people?
Well, it's no longer my home away from home. It's paradise for me. It's home. I've never once considered moving back or that this hasn't been working. I did come pretty well prepared though. I had lived in Cozumel part-time for several years before making the move to full-time. So I was well prepared to come here. But it's great here. The culture, the lifestyle, it's so colorful and vibrant here. There's so many different exotic animals, as Belle was mentioning. We see things like cotamundi, dwarf raccoons, things in the ocean that are found nowhere else. The Cozumel toadfish, right? The splendid toadfish.
There's a weird, and it does look like a toad.
Yes, it
Seriously,
does.
Google it. But it's like orange and purple.
It's a crazy looking fish.
Cozumel is famous for this toadfish. But anyway.
Yep. And there's iguanas here. There's geckos that sing to us. I've been telling Belle that I've got a neighbor that's a parrot that talks to me every day, every single day. He scolds me to get up and start making my coffee.
But that's the perfect breakfast buddy in my book.
It is. Bananas grow in our yard, wild, so that's great. We get fresh bananas. The fruits and vegetables here are just amazing. Things that we don't get in Seattle, like dragon fruit, that type of thing.
And they're so much cheaper. All of the tropical fruits, like the papayas and pineapples and mangoes and pitaya. I'm thinking in Spanish.
Pitaya, the dragon fruit.
The dragon
pitaya,
fruit.
yeah.
There is just such a wealth and bounty of wonderful fresh fruit and produce here. That's one of the things I love the most.
It's just wonderful to go to the market and just the big piles of colorful. I'll often just take pictures of the produce because it's so beautiful.
And I love that it's so much cheaper. Like I can go to the supermarket and a bag of spinach is about 50 pesos, $2.50, okay? Whereas I can buy the local spinach, which is, you can buy basically the whole plant for 7 pesos.
Right, just get a few bunches of that. You'll have to wash it a little, but you just like anywhere.
You wash it and it's fine. So it's one of those things that you can live very, very cheaply here if you're adaptable and just
real flexible.
Eat something a little bit different, like local spinach instead of a bag of spinach that's chopped and pressed and But I mean, that's the other thing. So I find it very easy to live cheaply here. I take it you're the same?
Yep. I do. We're in what we call the cheap seats. We don't live waterfront. We're not in a big house. We're not in a gated expat community. We're our neighbors are everyday Mexicans that don't speak English at all, or don't speak much English, if at all. So, we live right among the typical Mexican families, and we really enjoy that. We really, really enjoy that. It's really important to be flexible embrace what's here, reach out to your neighbors.
Yep.
That'll help you, get things done.
And my rent is under $400 a month.
Mine
and
is
I can
too.
live for around $1,000 a month. Are you guys are the same?
We're in the same price category. We call it the cheap seats, but it's just fine for us.
Well, see, I prefer things outside. I don't want to go out and eat at a different restaurant every single night, although I know so many expats that do.
Sure, and you
so
can do that
cheap.
here. You can do that here at the it's very inexpensive.
Yeah, but I prefer to do things in nature, so I'm a bit like Laurie in that way. So speaking of the nature, tell us about, the wonderful program that you're with the sea turtles.
Well, we do a lot of different things here on Cozumel to keep ourselves busy. And one thing that we've been trying to get into for several years is the marine turtle, they call it the camp, the marine turtle camp. And the specific one that we got into this year is at Punta Sur, which is the south point of the island.
Yep.
It's a nature park that's open during the day, but it's closed at about 6 p.m. every night. Once it closes, they have us come in. We've had special training. We learn to identify the nests. There's records kept of when the eggs were laid, what type of turtle it is, when they're going to hatch. We go back on hatch date and we check the nest to be sure that they've hatched. The nest gets dug up, and then we make sure that they make it to the ocean unencumbered. So the babies their shell is maybe 2 inches or so. They're just little bitty babies. So I'll give Belle a picture of one of the babies so we can see what they look like.
A picture.
Yep. But so it's an important function because the sea turtles, some of the varieties are endangered. Yes. So they need this extra help. Yeah. And an interesting thing about them is they're going to come back to the same exact spot 20 years or so from now and nest on the same beach. That just blows my mind. But we've really enjoyed being in Punta Sur at night after the park closes. There's other animals we've seen. We've seen crocodiles. We've seen cocodrilos in Spanish. We've seen coatimundi, which is kind of like a raccoon. We've seen pygmy raccoons. We've seen several kinds of really neat birds, including vultures. So it's really, and the sunset from Punta Sur is amazing.
I would love to see that. That's on my wish list. And I must admit, last time I drove out a couple of weeks ago out of Punta Sur, it is the island's biggest eco park.
It is.
And we were driving back out and there was a little tortoise, probably about 30 centimetres long, and he was making his way across the road. So tourists were coming up quite fast behind us, so I just asked my friend to stop the car and we just popped him off the road so he didn't get squished by a jeep. Yep. But you see so much beautiful wildlife, which I personally love. But the thing that I always wonder about is what happens if someone gets bitten by a crocodile down there or trips over at night? We have excellent healthcare here on the island.
Yes, we do.
And that is a reason a lot of people do move here because, the warm weather, it's better for arthritis and things like that. But I always wondered what happens if something happens out there. I'm sure that they'll have a medic on staff or something.
Well, they bring a first aid kit.
Perfect.
That's
all you need.
Yeah, and we're trained how to behave around the wildlife, and there's a qualified biologist with us at all times that supervises our behavior to be sure that we're being safe for the animals as well as for ourselves. Because it is also, I want to say way out there, but we do live on an island, so theoretically we could be back, within 30 minutes and inside the hospital if we needed to be.
Okay.
But that's never happened. We haven't needed to be, so.
Okay, now I know that you do a lot of other charity works. They also help the underprivileged families on the island and the children, and also with the Humane Society with street dogs and cats and things like that. But are there any other any other hobbies that you enjoy since you've moved here?
Well, since I moved here, of course, we like to snorkel. You can't pass that up. And it's great exercise. It's a great way to cool off. It's also one of our budget-friendly tips.
It's free.
Yeah, it's free. And once you have the equipment that you can take again and again. And another tip is always buy the best that you can afford of equipment like that. Because if you buy cheap snorkeling gear, it's going to cost you more in the end. You're going to run through so many sets of the cheap gear. Get yourself something good. Get it right away. Get used to it. Use it, and then it's just like camping gear. We're able to use it over and over.
Okay, so if anyone else was thinking as a wildlife lover at heart, like we are, or if they were thinking about moving abroad or living in Mexico, what would your words of advice be?
I would say always reach out and try to embrace the environment and the people around you. That's how you're going to get the best experience. That's how things are going to go well for you.
Yeah.
don't don't expect to hold on to the ideals and the cultural norms that have been really programmed into you. Things work differently in other countries, and that's something that's really important to embrace and accept and not try to fight against it. Just relax and see how things go and observe.
I
Listen,
agree.
learn.
Yeah. So if anyone else was thinking about coming down and living in the Riviera Maya, what would your words of advice be, Laurie?
Definitely to reach out and embrace the community and the environment around you. Don't rely on the things that you already know or the ideals and the culture that have been programmed into you. Be flexible, reach out, talk to your neighbors, see what's available, just even from goods at the market to activities. Be sure that you reach out and embrace your new culture and community. That way you're going to get the most out of things. You're going to go the farther, you're going to do the most, and you're going to get the most enjoyment out of your new location.
I agree. That's perfectly said. And on that note, we'll wrap it up. And thanks for joining us here today. As I said, if you are interested in moving to the Riviera Maya, click on the links below for your free Mexico reports and everything you need to know or any information that you're curious about. And click on the subscribe button so that you don't miss any further fantastic things like this. Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.